Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and it's been a long time since I've done one of these videos, but today we're going to be looking at a hero that you can play better on console with the whole setup, with the whole training method and everything, and that hero is going to be TRACER. Now, two things real quick. Yes, she did get a new anniversary skin. It's an epic skin. I think she looks like Pikachu, and well, I don't know, I love Pokemon, so of course I'm going to love it. And it's also Yanni. Today, getting back on track, TRACER is one of those heroes that has a high skill gap. What that means is that a lot of people like to play TRACER and along with Genji, but that means that the bad players are going to play TRACER and the really good players are also going to play TRACER because she just has high potential, she has high DPS, but is very fragile. She's sort of like a glass cannon, and if I just teach you a little training method of how you can practice with her and just get a little bit better with her, then I guarantee you'll be a much better TRACER in quick play and competitive, whatever the case may be. And the reason why I make these training methods is because it's very hard to practice what TRACER is really good at, which is identifying a very weak, a very vulnerable hero on the enemy side and attacking that hero. A lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people don't practice that, so that way if you practice it here just over and over and over again, guaranteed you'd be a much better TRACER than if you didn't do this training method. The way that I look at it, it's sort of like hitting a baseball off a tee. You're not going to be hitting a baseball off the tee in a regular game, but it's just to help practice your swing, give you more power, and just get familiar of where your sweet spot is. So let's get in the setup and let's just get right into the training method. So like a lot of my training methods, they're going to start here in the game browser, press X or square on the controller to create a game, and here we're going to add AI. This is going to be very important because this is going to be who you're training against, and unfortunately still going into year 3 we only have a select amount of heroes to have as AI, but luckily for TRACER you're going to want to go against Zenyatta. So here for the count it's very important because I say you want to start off around 3 or 4 because you don't want to be overwhelmed and just have a full team of 6 because you're not really pinpointing which Zenyatta you want to go for. You're just getting lucky and just hitting all of them. But a good way to separate the rest of the Zenyatas is by adding an AI Roadhog just to train your brain to not go after just a bunch of Zenyatas. Yes, this isn't like a true game, but this is just really going to be helpful, just separating the AI. And now we're going to go into the actual settings. Now, if you don't want to watch this part, you just want to copy all my settings for this training method, I do have a practice TRACER method right here, and you just pretty much have to copy everything right here. Pretty much just turn Roadhog and Zenyatta's all the abilities off, and turn TRACER's ultimate ability up to 500. However, I will walk you through the whole entire setup. I won't leave you hanging. So the first thing you're going to want to change is going to be here in settings. You don't want to change presets or lobby, just go to modes. The first thing and the only thing you need to do here is just change the respawn scaler all the way to 5 so that they just can continue to spawn. And for the map, because you're going to have to change something right here, I chose Ruins on Ilios, so that means you're going to have to choose the third map right here. And the last thing that you're going to want to do is actually turn Skirmish on so that the point isn't actually going, but that the enemy team can still go to the point. Now, in terms of the map, you're going to want to turn everything off and turn Ilios on. In all honesty, you can go with any single control map. The only reason why I like control maps is because the AI all meet at the center of the map, so that's why I just chose that one. Now, here's where things get a little bit weird, but it's really not all that weird. So the first thing I want to change is going to be not to Widowmaker, is going to be to Zenyatta. So it's going to be really easy. Just disable everything except for spawn with ready up, and except for receive headshots only. You're gonna cheat yourself in this training method, but it's just to get familiar of just one clipping Zenyatta. And you're gonna want to turn off disable primary and secondary fire and everything like that. Same thing with Roadhog. Literally just disable all of his abilities except for his ultimate, or spawn in with ultimate. Here you can turn on receive headshots only. It'll kind of train you to aim for the head for a Roadhog, but you're really not going to be going against a Roadhog. And same thing, disable there. And the last thing you're going to want to change, this is the very last thing I promise, is just make sure that you're spawning in with pulse bomb and just turn everything up for the pulse bomb. And that's pretty much all you need to do. But the way that you save it, because it might get annoying to do this over and over, just literally press the left bumper, save it to whatever. I named it just Bro You Wack's game. You can rename it to whatever, like hi, I'm not creative, and there you have it forever. You just have to load it up and you're ready to go, and you're ready to actually start the training method. So now we're going to be looking at the first step of the training method, which there's like 5 different things I'm going to show you guys on ways that you can just practice Tracer. But the first thing we're going to be showing you is just trying to one-clip Zenyatta, because that is so important with Tracer that people don't really take into account for it and really don't practice it. But this will literally show you how often you're able to one-clip Zenyatta, and yeah, it's going to come like at ease after a couple of times, but this is just a good way to just warm up with Tracer, just to figure out Tracer. Any like fundamental thing you're gonna figure out with this very first step. So that's why I really want to introduce it. But this will also help players that are just brand new to Tracer really figure out the feel of Tracer, but also figure out some settings. And this is where I'm going to tell you guys that you really need to figure out the perfect sensitivity, but also the perfect reticle slash bloom. Now the first thing I'm going to tell you about bloom is, me personally, I get rid of it. I don't think it helps. There's no reason for it, because you're just increasing the reticle and you're tricking your brain into thinking, yeah, whatever is in that big reticle circle is going to be hitting. That's not necessarily true, at least in my eyes. And I have that certain reticle, the green cross, because that's just what I like. But in terms of sensitivity, this is especially important that I want to just inform you guys, because the higher the sensitivity with Tracer is going to be the better. I made a whole video talking about sensitivity, and people still try to argue with me saying slower sensitivity is just as good. If you have slow sensitivity Zenyatta go against a high sensitivity Tracer, that Tracer would beat the Zenyatta 10 times out of 10, just because the reaction time isn't there. Now the second thing that you can practice with this training method is gonna be the blink economy recall timing. So blink economy is so important with Tracer, because what I often do and what I see a lot of Tracers do is that they use the blink ability as movement. But you have to remember, Tracer can walk regularly, and you shouldn't waste blinks just to get from one spot to the other just because you're lazy to walk. There's gonna be certain times that you're gonna have to use the blink to get from like one side of the bridge to the other, but what's so great about Tracer is that this is going to get you closer to the target. At least that's how I see it. So really the way that I see it is that you want to try to get to the target as fast as possible, and you do this by doing it with blink. But what you're going to be practicing, what you're seeing right here in the gameplay, is that I'm going to be recalling after I one-clip the Zenyatta, because there's nothing more annoying than a Tracer that's always in your back line, but once you react to that Tracer, she already recalled back. So that's why it's so important to really be able to one-clip Zenyatta first, but then be able to practice the blink ability, one-clip them, and then recall back. So the third step, or the third training method that you can use with this whole entire setup, is going to be a thing that I call the back and forth blink combo. This is sort of like an advanced training method that you don't really need to like master to be effective with Tracer, but it will definitely help you out. So pretty much what you're supposed to be doing is you're supposed to be using at least 2 blinks. You blink in front of the enemy, and then you blink backwards. What this allows the enemy to do is be tricked by your position, thinking that they're in front of you, so they turn around, but you're so loose at Tracer that you already blink back and you're able to one-clip them. You're just trying to just combine the elusiveness with the damage, because that is what makes Tracer really effective. So I actually had to bring the controller cam out just to show you guys this next step, but literally you're just going to be practicing sticking pulse bombs on the Zenyatas, and I'm going to be so bad right now just because I'm focusing on 3 different things: playing, this camera, and also talking. But really, you don't practice this enough in quick play, but it's so crucial just to be able to stick pulse bombs with Tracer. And if you can just stick 100 Zenyatas in this training method, you'll be 10 times better than if you were just to practice it 3 times in quick play. But really, you're not meant to stick the Roadhog. You're meant to stick the 200 HP heroes or the high value target. But the main reason why I brought the controller cam out is to show you guys the importance of why you want to remap your pulse bomb from the Y button to anything right here, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to want to stick someone. Oh, I can only move my feet. I can't move my head because I have to move my right thumb to the Y button. Rather than if you have it on the left trigger like I do right now, now I can aim for any Zenyatta. Okay, that was going to be embarrassing if I didn't get it, and have full movement. You'd be surprised how quick people react to movement when they see a Tracer coming up. So if you have to that Zenyatta moved to the right, I wasn't able to do it. This is why it's important to just go into options, go to controls, go down all the way to tracer. It's gonna say Y or triangle for you to just something else. You don't want to move your right thumb for anything important, and a pulse bomb is very crucial. Timing is everything. And this itty bitty movement, you'd be surprised of how much pulse bombs you're gonna miss. So the fifth and final practice training method, whatever you want to call it, isn't even gonna be in the practice method that I showed you. It's actually gonna be at the practice range because you need a stationary target to practice the blink and melee combo. So this is what I'm talking about. You're gonna be able to do this every single time. And this is what I mean. You're gonna be able to blink and melee. See how I meleeed first and then I blinked? Because there's a small window where it's gonna, the animation is still gonna be doing damage, but obviously if you wait too long, you're not gonna be able to do the damage. But what's so special about Tracer is that, yeah, you're not gonna be able to one clip every single hero. There you see that he's down to like, what, 5 HP, but you're gonna be able to melee them, but you don't need to get so close, rather than just being able just to melee real quick and also blink at the same time, just to maximize the elusiveness and damage. That's what you're trying to do here. And all you pretty much gotta do, it's gonna be a 10 meter distance. That's the max distance that you can be at, and you're just gonna be able to just melee first and then blink. You don't want to blink first and then melee because you're not maximizing the time and elusiveness. Like, yeah, you can do that, but you might as, like, it's better to just have that open window, that time period, and then blink, because you're just maximizing the time. And that is my practice method of how to play Tracer better on console. Now I just want to clarify one last time, I'm not the perfect Tracer main, but I like to think that I know a thing or two about Overwatch, and that includes Tracer. Really, I just wanted you guys to practice Tracer because she's a very popular hero, but there's a time and place for Tracer, and she has a specific role. Not to say that you can't go after tanks, but you get more value by going after those very vulnerable targets, because it's a 6v6 every single fight, and most of the time, someone like DPS like a Tracer can take out 2 vulnerable healers, and that's why I wanted you guys to practice against Zenyatta. So really, just button remapping, practicing elusiveness, and just straight up practicing. Just practice, practice, practice. If you one clip 100 Zenyatas, if you throw 100 pulse bombs, you are a much better Tracer now than previously. It's like what they teach you in sports. If you throw 100 pitches, you're a much better pitcher than when you were before you threw that 100 pitches. So that's what I want to get across in this training method. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you want to see another training video like this, and I'll see you guys later. I love you guys, and bye.